TV show in late 2021. But what nobody realized was that this might have been an attempt to save the show before some dark secrets came to light. In the years that followed, the controversies would start to pile up to the point where the guys could no longer hide from them, and the wholesome image of four lifelong friends making each other laugh would start to collapse on itself. Unfortunately, whether or not any of these allegations held any weight did not matter, because it had a permanent impact on the show, as ratings have plummeted to an all-time low, and Impractical Jokers has become a shell of what it once was. Through a post made to Instagram, Joe revealed that he and his wife, Bessie, had recently separated, and he wanted to focus on co-parenting his two young children during their separation, which seems understandable. Fans respected Joe's decision to move on and appreciated the care he had for his family. His three co-stars released a joint statement of their own, where they expressed their appreciation for Joe and their intentions to continue making episodes without him, but some fans voiced concerns about the show's ability to last without him and felt that a piece of the soul that made the show great would be missing. There were also those who believed,
dude, it's a tough thing, because when it's like you got four guys, it's four, right? It's the Sal, Murr, Joe, Quinn. It's weird to do it with one of them missing, like it is odd. Like when I hang out with my group of friends, and it's, we got me, Airdog, Sriracha, Fatty. It's like, it's weird without Ace, it's a little awkward, like I get it. I can see, like, from the creator's standpoint, and then from the viewer's standpoint, if you're someone else, you're like, oh, it's weird you don't have a guy who's always here, like I get it. I get where that's
that something much darker had happened behind the scenes. There is definitely a scandal here. His post is meant to preempt a scandal. He is trying to thoroughly disassociate himself from the Impractical Jokers brand so that when his scandal comes out, it doesn't tank his friends' careers. Now, the speculation and conspiracy theories surrounding Joe's exit were initially met with pushback and skepticism. If he stops working to take the equal custody he's entitled to, she gets much less money. It's that simple. There's probably millions of dollars at stake. Once the divorce is final, I bet he comes back on some level. But then fans became increasingly suspicious when they noticed a handful of episodes of Impractical Jokers had been removed from truTV's website and HBO Max's streaming service shortly after Joe's departure. All the banned episodes shared a common theme, Joe being put in what is described as compromising situations. These episodes include Stripped of Dignity, where Joe was required to strip in public for strangers, Bullshatsu, which featured Joe hiding in a massage chair and giving strangers massages, and Sun Fan Lotion, that depicted Joe in a pair of swim trunks asking strangers to rub his body with sunscreen. It's hard to truly understand what they were protecting here, because most of these skits were standard Impractical Jokers material. The formula of the show was simple. Four lifelong friends compete with each other to perform embarrassing, shocking, or just silly pranks on strangers. The challenge
Yeah, should I do some IRL pranks with my real life friends? I can tell you, I can do some good stuff IRL. Like I'm a guy that can do some freaky stuff, funky stuff, funky, silly, funky, not freaky, silly, funky. Um, and I think that'd be kind of funny, but we'll see. Get the chat in. What chat thinks we'll do it.
Challenger has an earpiece in and has to follow the instructions given by the other jokers.
Slowly raise the glass up higher and higher as you talk to them.
Even the simplest of jokes turned into hilarious moments. Not only were the situations ridiculous, but each guy had to come up with their own improv strategy to complete the prank. Plus, the unsuspecting strangers' reactions to their behavior was the cherry on top. The show was a smash hit right out of the gate, racking up 60 million views through its first season, but its success was seemingly everlasting. It almost had this like Rob Dyrdek ridiculousness effect, like it just seemed to be on all the time. No matter when you turn on the TV, there was an episode of Impractical Jokers playing. The show developed a die-hard audience that always waited in anticipation for the next episode, and viewers fell in love with the Jokers not just as entertainers, but as people. One of my personal favorites was when they had to take food off of other people's plates at an all-you-can-eat buffet.
Oh my god, delicious!
That's a classic, bro. I see this clip probably at least once a month for the last couple of years. It's been on my This is crazy.
Oh my god, my favorite, y'all. Loved it.
Prioritizing genuine reactions and their real personalities was key to their image, branding, and marketing, with the series' tagline being actual friends, actual dares, actually funny.
Alright, cool. Would I be the kind of guy that...
I would think.
No?
No!
Why?
You're not tall enough.
Since we're not lying to each other. What about this?
Yeah, I pieced that out too.
He used to have more hair.
Yeah, you want to see?
We put Murray's old headshot.
This is his real headshot.
Musical theater when he was 18.
Yeah, he used to have a lot more hair.
You're killing my chances. You're killing
See?
Yo.
Do you like regional theater? Are you a fan of regional?
The Jokers weren't playing characters, they were four real friends goofing off together. The show felt like hanging out with your buddies in real life, and gave their audience a deep sense of familiarity and trust for the Jokers, and also gave the viewers the feeling that they were genuinely good people. For example, sometimes one of the Jokers would receive a task that conflicted with their personal ethical code, and they would basically just refuse to do it.
Q, pull her aside for a second.
Sorry, guys. Real quick, chat. We're switching some shit up, some stuff up. I mean, we don't curse on this stream, obviously. But I'm having some. I'm gonna lose my fucking mind with this YouTube ad. That's going on right now. It's a 8-hour ad. I don't know how long it is, but I can't see how long it is on my fucking freaking thing. I have it playing. I like to play Queso in the background of when I stream. I shout out Queso. I love if it's not Queso and it's not most critical in the background of my brain when I'm doing like anything, I just can't function. So shout out those guys. They have a monopoly on my life. But I genuinely don't know why I can't stop this ad. It's just going fucking crazy. It's driving me, like, I'm actually losing my fucking mind, chat. I'm actually losing my fucking mind because I can't turn the ad off. I can't turn the ad off. The ad is just going. I can't turn it off. It's driving me fucking crazy that I can't turn this ad off. It's just going, and I can't stop it. I don't know how to stop it. The ad is not stopping. When I go to my computer and click X, I clicked X 40 times, it's still going. I'm losing my fucking mind trying to end this ad. It's going crazy. I'm just trying to watch Queso play just fucking... It's literally, can I make it out of the back rooms? I just want it going in the background while I'm doing the stream because I just have to have that going on. And it's not working. It's just some fucking phone ad and it's like 2 hours long. It's been going for like 40 minutes now. It's driving me crazy.
Let me talk to you 1 second over here, please.
I produced some erotic VR stuff on the side if you're interested.
Okay, hold on, wait a minute. Erotic VR stuff? That's a little crazy. Hold on. Go back.
Okay, no.
How you doing?
You guys having fun today?
Say to the girl, are you with him?
Are you with him?
Seriously? Wait, what's the machine okay?
As you can see, Timo is a very small, tiny little character, and in fighting games, that usually becomes a big issue for the opponent. When you press down S2, Timo plants a clump of grass on the ground, and it grows over time. After it grows, Timo has 3 interactions with the grass. First is that he turns invisible inside the grass almost immediately. When he's outside of the grass, he can press down S2 again to teleport back to the grass. There's another use for this, and that is Timo can use crouching H to burn the grass.
He's got another...
And another special feature about this fire is that once you get the fire and Timo pulls up, you can float on the updraft of the fire. Another interaction that Timo has with the grass is that once you get the flame slingshot, he can set the grass ablaze.
He's got a...
Checking the machine.
This showed that they weren't just 4 degenerate guys running around harassing people on the street, but rather they were well-intentioned comedians having fun without being rude or mean to the people they interacted with. Fans didn't just love the show, they loved the people who made it special, both for their humor and their personal character, which is why fans were confused when they found out about the infamous banned episode called The Dream Crusher. Joe's task was to find a hired actor planted in the mall by other jokers and select them by giving them a kiss. If he correctly guessed who it was and kissed the right person, he won the challenge. Joe at first seems excited at the idea of kissing the female actor that was planted in the mall, who he describes as hot in the early moments of the challenge. However, once his wife arrives, his demeanor completely changes. Joe went from super confident to crumbled down instantly. Truly an epic moment. Now, knowing that he and his wife were getting separated, it's not hard to guess why.
Are we good? Chat, anyone? No one in chat's gonna tell me. We're just gonna have to figure it out. I know there's at least 10 guys in the chat right now. I can see it. I can see the numbers. Or any of you guys, are we having issues, or are we able to see it good? Is it fine? The mods should have turned it to not follower only, so anyone can chat. Right. All right. We're just gonna keep playing then. If no one's gonna say anything, we're just gonna keep playing. And if it's laggy and it's sucking, not gonna be my problem, because it's fine for me. It's fine for me personally.
This episode was removed from streaming services. However, due to the trust Joe had built between himself and the audience, the idea that he held any responsibility for he and his wife's real-life separation was completely off the table for his fans. Joker's fans ran with the idea that Joe is this perfectly innocent man whose wife was potentially cheating on him and divorcing him to take all of his money. And while we can all agree that this is just parasocial behavior from diehard fans, it was only the tip of the iceberg. Slowly, more and more potential evidence would be revealed. A post made to the Impractical Joker subreddit all the way from late 2017 resurfaced that features 2 female fans taking a selfie with Myrrh. In the comments, one of the women claimed to have spoken with Joe using Snapchat's call feature, and further elaborated. He tried calling me a few times before I noticed and grabbed my roommate Amy to come talk to him. At one point, he joked about us being pretty girls who live together and that we should be in a pillow fight. We laughed.
Alright, chat, hold on, wait a minute. Then this is, I like this phrase here that's not highlighted, chat. I think. Alright, chat, I'm gonna be honest real quick. I'm gonna dig into the non-highlighted text here. So we've got some highlighted text, but let's look at the non-highlighted text real quick. Then we chatted for a while about fairly standard stuff. His dead dog, keeping Portland weird, dudes jerking it. So they're talking about jerking it. That's weird. That's not normal. That's bizarre, right? A little funky, a little freaky, a little silly.
And joked about it. Then the conversation continued in another direction until I called my roommate out for filming me talking with him, and he said, "Amy's filming? I'm out," and dropped the call. Then I shot him a message apologizing, and he was really nice about it and said, "Silly Amy," and then asked if we wanted to come to his hotel room for a pillow fight. We didn't want to go to his room, but we also didn't want to stop talking to him, so we...
Right, hold on. Ain't this guy like fucking 40 talking about a pillow fight? I feel like we're getting I'm starting to maybe not like Joe quite as much as maybe I used to.
danced around the subject a bit, joked about inviting Q or maybe Larry if we could find him. He didn't respond to the Larry joke, so we said goodnight and he said goodnight back, and that was it. All in all, he was really nice and fun to talk to. Just wanted a couple girls to pillow fight in his room, which, you know, who doesn't? Fans were quick to point out that Joe was married, and the idea of inviting 2 young women to have a pillow fight in his hotel room was deeply inappropriate. But keep this story in the back of your mind moving forward, because it won't be the last time we hear about Joe using Snapchat
gonna give this a like, bro.
that and
I like this
inviting
guy. I love
girls
the
over
stuff
to
he's
his
given.
hotel room.
His
An
mic's
alleged
pretty
friend
good,
of
too.
former True TV producer also offered their perspective into Joe Gatto's private habits. All I know is there was a boxing fight years back. Joe was there along with other True TV personnel. He was outwardly attempting to hit on various women in a non-joking manner while his wife was home pregnant with their first kid. For my friend, a young guy recently hired, it was a don't meet your heroes moment, as other staffers were like, he does this all the time. Joe doesn't drink, so he uses this to his advantage with women. Now obviously this could be just a totally uncredible source that's just making some stuff up, but with a handful of deleted episodes and stories like these becoming more notable than ever, things weren't exactly looking good for Joe. But with nothing truly concrete and the trust that Joe had established between himself and the audience, nothing more would come of these rumors for now. Impractical Jokers continued by bringing in guest stars to fill Joe's place. And although the show was mostly the same, something just felt like it was missing, and the ratings proved that. The final episode featuring Joe hit 420,000 viewers, however the following episode dropped down to 210,000, and the episode after that only hit 170,000. Joe's presence was clearly missed, but diehard fans still enjoyed the show in spite of his absence. On a more positive note, Joe eventually revealed that he and his wife had rekindled their relationship, with a post made to Instagram celebrating their 10-year wedding anniversary. Fans immediately began speculating that meant Joe was due for a return, but unfortunately, that never came, and more allegations would make it very clear that Joe would never be returning.
I was just about to say, did he never return? Because I mean, I don't keep up with the show anymore. I mean, I never kept up with it. I just watched it ever on like YouTube Shorts or TikTok. Or
To Impractical Jokers. A TikTok user by the name of Josie B, or Hope, made a series of posts on the platform in March of 2025 alleging misconduct by Joe Gatto. After running into him while getting dinner with her family, Joe invited Hope to a stand-up special he was doing that night. She went and enjoyed the performance and even got to meet him backstage. And when she got back home, she began drinking and messaging Joe on Instagram. Joe invited her to meet him at his hotel room. She claims that Joe turned on vanish mode, meaning that she didn't have the proof of any of these messages, but he gave her specific instructions on how to get to his room, and Hope decided to go.
Ubered to his hotel, and it was a little like he was giving me these weird instructions. Like I was like thinking I was gonna be like a stealth like spy mode at this point. I walk in the door, somebody opens the door for me, whatever, and they're like asking me like I forget what they asked me. I don't know, I was drunk, I don't know. But somebody led me to the elevator, and somebody was on the elevator with me and pressed the button.
Hope was giving a ton of detail and slowly mapping out the timeline, but when it came to actually say what happened in the hotel room, she did not want to share any of the details.
Some stuff happened. I don't want to go into the details about everything, but I'm not going to show the picture that I posted on my account before of moi, but it just like the things he said, and like he was bragging like about things, and it was just, I don't want any girl to feel like that and to have.
That's weird. He's got to be like twice as old as this girl, right?
Don't meet your stars.
So you went to a guy's hotel room at 2 a.m. for what? To play checkers? I'm not victim blaming, but whenever you agree to meet a man at a hotel, it's never just for friendship. In case someone underage is reading this comment, do not go. There has to
Yeah, that's a pro strat for everybody. If you're ever in a position where someone's saying, meet me after 11 p.m., don't do it. Just bad news. Just offer if I can tell you that's bad news. I mean, anything after 9 p.m., bad news. You know, like, we gotta get it set where it's like, I'm hanging out with you from 5 to 7, and then I'm gonna go to bed, do my Clash Royale for an hour and a half after that, and then I'm gonna go to bed. That's the life you need to live. That's the perfect life. And then you go to bed, you wake up in the morning, first thing you do when you wake up, 6 a.m., Clash Royale. Do your workout, go to work, grind, have lunch. 11, 30-minute. The last half of your lunch break should be a Clash Royale break, obviously. Get home at about 5, whatever. Clash Royale for about 30 minutes. Dinner. Hang out with your buddy. 6 to 7. 6 to 8. Alright, we're done. Go home. 7 to 9, 7 to 8, Clash Royale, go to bed, repeat. That's the perfect day. That's the best day of all time. That's gonna make you a winner. So put that down in your notebook.
To be some accountability here, girl. You kept messaging him, you went to his hotel, you put yourself in danger. The more severe claims were met with skepticism. She did claim in a separate post that Joe had SA'd her, showing off a large bruise on her backside that he supposedly had made with his teeth. Hope had revealed in an older TikTok that she had anemia, showing off her numerous bruises as a side effect of the illness. This could explain the bruise on her backside. Even if this encounter did happen, it doesn't inherently mean that Joe maliciously tried to harm her. Viewers also pointed out the unserious tone that she has throughout the video, accusing her of rambling and getting easily distracted by her hair or the sky in the background.
So after this, he turns on vanish mode. Also, the sky looks kind of pretty. He turns on vanish mode. So I didn't get much of that, and I was drunk and crazy roommate, so.
Of course, while none of these factors necessarily disqualify her claims, there seems to be a lack of concrete evidence. Sure, she was at the hotel that she willingly admits that she went to on her own volition. She said over and over again that she was drunk, but didn't necessarily say what actually happened, and is kind of accusing him of a crime. But regardless of what we think, Joe would actually respond to these allegations stating, "I have used poor judgment, and as a result, I have violated the trust of the people I love most. But anyone who knows me at all knows full well that I wouldn't assault anyone. Working on myself is an ongoing process, and I am now going to take some time away from the public eye to focus my energies where I need to." Despite being vague, Joe's statement tells a lot through subtle context. He doesn't directly deny the encounter between himself and Hope, but does refute the claims that it was non-consensual. Before this statement, it was all just rumors that Joe was like this guy who would frequently hit on girls that went to his show and try to get them to meet up with him at his hotel room, but now he seems to be confirming that there was a little bit of truth there. And because of his response, it essentially opened the door wide open for others to speak about their encounters with Joe, and additional allegations were given in the following days. Two girls by the name of Brianna and Grace shared a similar story about Joe. After seeing him at a show and tagging him on Instagram, Joe began messaging them in direct messages. They went to a second show where they met him backstage for a few minutes. The fans were amazed that they were able to get access to their favorite comedian. They continued chatting with him in DMs and asked if he could give them free tickets to a third show, to which he said yes. When they arrived to the third show, they got to spend more time with him backstage, and they claim this is where Joe started behaving inappropriately.
So then he told us to take a seat with him on the couch, so we did.
Fucking piss, bro. I gotta take a fucking piss. 60 minutes. 60 seconds of ads should be fine for you guys. You guys can handle that. You guys can handle that. Yeah, what do we think? Is Joe a bad guy? Is Impractical Jokers cooked? I don't know how old this video is. I guess I need to check and see how old this video is. I guess no one can hear me because we're doing there's an ad break right now, so you guys can't hear me. And none of my subs are online. I know all my subs. You can see when I know when my subs are online. We do special stuff for the subs. The subs get to hear the piss breaks. What do we think, chat? Still ads? Yes, he still ads. We'll keep it paused for the ads. Some people can't see the ads, I'm not gonna lie. Some people don't give ads. Chat, some people can't see the ads. So we'll go
And
in.
he
We'll go
was staring
back
at our stomachs, and he was wondering if we had an innie or an outie belly button.
Okay, wait a minute. He's asking about their belly buttons.
And he told us to lift up our shirts, so we did. I mean, it was kind of, we couldn't not, you know. So we did, and then he asked to touch them, and that's when it started getting weird. He was stroking our bellies, and that sounds so weird, but I swear to God, that's what he was doing. He was literally touching our belly buttons.
And he kissed her on the cheek before we left.
He kissed me on the cheek, and he gave us a $100 bill.
Oh my God, yeah, I have a picture of it. But basically, okay, this is what I was wearing. You see it, like the red jacket with like that yellow wristband for like meet and greet passes. And this is the $100 bill he gave us. You can see I'm wearing the same red jacket with the same wristband. It's like over there in the corner. But yeah, this is a $100 bill he gave us. He whipped it out and he said, for driving so far, for like seeing me.
So afterwards, he felt bad because we had to drive so far to get back. And he ended up buying us a hotel, like a $200 hotel.
Basically, like, this is all we really have about the hotel because, like, we didn't get pictures of it or anything because we were so, like, fed up in the moment and, like, excited about it because, like, obviously he's a celebrity and he was, like, spending money on us and we were like, oh my God, like, what the heck. But he was still kind of, like, weird in the moment, so we were like, you know. But, yeah, this is me saying, like, gonna buy us one in the same hotel as you. And then he put it in vanish mode like he did with, but he put it in vanish mode and he was saying stuff and then he said, he was like saying like it's too risky for me to do that.
The girls then alleged that Joe purchased a hotel room for them across the street from the hotel he was staying at, to the point where they were even able to wave at each other through the windows. They claim he would strategically turn on vanish mode whenever he said something extremely inappropriate, but they allege that he was asking for explicit pictures and for them to come over to his hotel room at night.
So we're at the hotel at this time, the one he bought us, and he's still texting us, and he is asking us for videos of us kissing, making out, nudes. I mean, all of that. He was literally basically begging us to come over to his hotel, saying that he'll sneak us around the back so none of his, you know, people on set would see. And he was literally just trying everything with the charger, with, you know,
just asking us in general. Like,
in general.
Are you going to come over? Are you going to come over? We're like, yeah, no, we're not doing that because, I mean, we're not, like, obviously we're not going to go over there to a 50-year-old, like, hotel room, like, in the middle of night, you know?
We knew what he wanted.
Yeah, obviously, that's what he wanted.
He was asking us for nudes. He wanted us. Like, and we decided not to go over there.
Obviously, because we were like, this is crazy. Like, he literally has a wife and kids.
What makes this situation complicated is that both Brianna and Grace seemed to understand, at least on some level, that what was happening wasn't right. They knew the dynamic was inappropriate. An adult man, famous and married at the time, blurring boundaries with young fans. But knowing something is wrong and acting on that knowledge are two very different things. They were young, impressionable, and caught in the thrill of being noticed by someone they admired. For them, this wasn't just a weird 50-something-year-old. It was Joe Gatto from Impractical Jokers, someone they'd watched for years on television. Then again, they also wanted to remind everyone that they weren't accusing him of a crime.
This is not a video about him assaulting us in any way, shape, or form.
Nothing physical happened. It was
nothing at all.
Nothing.
Well,
he's not a great man, and what we should be focused on is not teenage girls going to his hotel. What we should be focused on is a 50-year-old man inviting teenage girls to hotels. That's the problem.
Married with kids.
Yeah, this is the problem, guys.
A former employee of Joe Gatto spoke with People magazine, alleging to have met Joe at only 15 years old. Once she turned 18, she says he became
an issue.
At Vistaprint, we print signs so people can see your brand up close. But we also print signs so that people can see your business here. See it here. And
Chat, was that a doorman guy on that ad there? Shout out that guy for being promoted to the Vistaprint ads. That's a doorman guy. I just watched the clip again on stream. That's a doorman guy. That's a doorman guy. He's from Doorman, right? Chat, shout out that guy. Right? We like that. That's awesome. He's
became more flirtatious and possessive, allegedly groping her in an elevator and inviting her to his hotel room to cuddle. But sometimes Joe didn't even wait for them to turn 18. Another young woman released a TikTok of her own, claiming to have been only 15 years old when Joe solicited nude pictures from her on Snapchat.
Hello, my name is Mandy, and when I was 15 years old, Joe Gatto from the Impractical Jokers groomed me.
On the surface, it may seem like all these allegations are baseless due to a lack of evidence. Then again, all these stories show a consistent pattern of behavior. The use of applications like Snapchat and Instagram to send non-permanent messages to teenage girls, all of them being explicit in nature, and almost all of them end with an invitation to a hotel room. Joe's initial response was outdated at this point, and he quickly canceled his upcoming tour dates and issued a new statement. Having taken some time to reflect, I've decided to voluntarily enter an inpatient program to continue working on myself. I just want to thank my friends, fans, and especially my family for all of their support, never more so than over the last few days. Even if you think all of these allegations from these girls are complete lies, I mean, there has to be some truth to them considering Joe's responses. Plus, the impact of them on the show was very real. Joe had now been missing from the show for years, and the ratings had continued to plummet. Now that his absence was associated with these shameful allegations, it raised questions about the entire show, and specifically the other cast members. The other 3 guys had remained dead silent throughout this entire ordeal, and to this day haven't said a word about the situation. You would think lifelong best
Yeah, dude. Like, if it, I don't know what this guy's about to say, but I'm like, if it's like, it comes out that like one of my lifelong best friends is like consistently like hooking up with and talking to underage girls. I don't know how I would like. That's a weird thing to be a part of. Like, I don't know how I would react to that. Like, that's weird. You know, like that's just something that you don't. Your brain doesn't think that that's gonna ever happen. So it's like when it does, like I don't blame those guys for not saying anything because like you really don't know. Like you're like, what do the lawyers think? And then you go on kind of what that goes on. And I'm sure they have a good legal team, and that's kind of what they talk to, and that's why they didn't really say or do anything. But it's like, I don't know what you do. Like that's bizarre. That's something you just hope to never have to deal with, right?
friends would be extremely quick to defend their buddy, but they didn't. And now people think they might have some skeletons in their closet that they didn't want revealed, specifically Murr, who had 2 women came out with allegations of their own against him. The first came from a fan who claimed to be underage when they met, and seemingly had a relationship over the span of 2 years when she was 16 to 18. She provided texts of her and Murr going back and forth, where he admits to being drunk and inviting her to come over. She also provided multiple pictures of them together, as well as pictures taken in a photo booth of them kissing. But she also said, "Please note I acted like I was older than I was at first, but he saw my ID the first time we met and continued, it was just an unspoken fact. I take full responsibility for that. I was young and stupid." These allegations made this joke age like milk.
What I'm going to do today is teach you some tips.
That's also weird. Like, I don't know. Do you meet someone and then just like, hey, here's my ID, here's how old I am? I don't know. If you're in a position, chat, this is a pro strat for everybody. If you're in a position to be like, oh, let me see your ID, how old are you? Probably in the wrong. Probably bad. Just like off rip, if you're like, oh, let me see your ID, how old are you? Probably in the wrong spot. Probably doing something wrong, chat. You're probably doing... I would say if you find yourself asking or you find yourself in a position where you're holding someone else's ID in your hands, probably wrong. You're probably like, hey, probably making some mistakes now. Let me stop this. You know, like that's a very clear, like I think that's a very clear red flag. Bad news. Flag on the play. If you're holding an ID, if you're asking for an ID, flag on the play. You need to reflect and change your day-to-day basis on what's going on with this, because like it's probably not right. Are we on ad break, guys? Are we on ad break? Do I need to stop? Do I need to keep the video paused for ads? I'm gonna ask chat real quick, guys, if we keep the video paused for ads. When we do these like YouTube night type stuff, I will pause for the ads for the people that don't have them, and we'll just like the people who pay for the premium, the 5 guys we have to do that, we'll do just like private talking and hanging out with them. But I don't want my people who don't have that sub type stuff to miss the content on the video, which is like the overarching like main point of what we're doing right now, if that makes sense. Chat says we're still on ads, so we're still on ads. Are we still on ads, guys? Are we good to go? Couple more people still on ads. Are we still a couple people still on ads? All right, should be good to go, I think now, guys. We're gonna go back to the video.
and tricks on how to optimize your computer to the best of its ability.
Let's check out my trash bin.
Down here is your recycle bin. This is where you throw things away. Let's take a look at my recycle bin. Throw out what you do not need. For example, barely legal that GIF. So, I didn't need it anymore. I threw it away.
The second allegation came from a TikTok user named Fall1995. The account shows a mountain of different screenshots and text conversations from when she was 16 and Murr was 35. When asked if he would consider dating her when she turns 18, Murr responds with, "Once you turn 18, email me the same question and I'll be happy to answer." When she posted about this publicly, he said, "Please don't put what I told you about turning 18 on a public message board on a Facebook fan page, okay? I don't like my private messages shared with fans. I'd love if you could please delete all those posts." The two also discussed meeting in person, with Murr saying they could meet only if she never tells anyone. He would compliment the girl and often tell her that he loves her. However,
alright, chat. One, if you are saying, hey, don't tell anyone about this, that's gonna be my other red flag for the night. That's gonna be my other one where I say, hey, if you find yourself saying, hey, don't tell anybody about this, might be in the wrong. You might be a little funky with that one. You might be in what we would say a bad spot if you're saying, hey, don't tell anybody about this. I would say my pro strat would be, hey, before you say that, think, hey, wait a minute. What would my mom think? What would my grandma think? Okay. Probably wouldn't like this. Let's move on. Hey. Sorry. You're half my age minus 10 years. I'm gonna block you. I'm gonna say, hey, I'm gonna not take any more of these messages. And that's gonna be it. I think, chat, that would be my strat for you guys if you were in this situation.
despite what looks like this enormous expose, all she ultimately wanted to say was that her conversations with him were strange and inappropriate, but not that he had committed any crime. Also, for clarity, this is the exact video that
you could also just be like super fucking weird. This is an ad. I'll skip the ad. Then I'm gonna
this user uploaded.
Like, you can also be super fucking weird and not commit any crimes and still be super fucking weird. Like, it's not, like, you don't have to commit a crime to be super fucking weird, and you don't have to be super fucking weird and be committing crimes. Like, they don't go toe-to-toe necessarily every situation. But, like, this is a guy that, he's definitely super fucking weird with what we're seeing so far. He's treading the line on committing a crime. He's like, we haven't seen like a direct crime yet, but it's like, oh, we're getting a little freaky there. We're getting a little spooky. It's getting a little silly on that, this is maybe a crime. This is maybe not a crime. Like, he's definitely treading on like some thin water there, guys.
To TikTok, I did not black out her face, nor did I alter her voice. She did that.
So if you guys have noticed, I went on private mode for a little bit, not because I'm guilty of lying or because I'm suspicious, but because people are trying to dox me. People are sending me death threats. People are sending threats about calling the SWAT team on me. Over Murr, of all people, you guys are trying to bat for this guy so hard. It's just crazy to me. I don't know. It's so strange. I've made it so clear. I'm not accusing him of anything. I'm not saying that he committed a crime. All I'm saying is, for me personally, I think it's just strange conversations that a 35-year-old engaged in.
Both of these girls that made allegations blurred their face, name, and made anonymous accounts, so the idea that they were doing it for clout or attention holds little weight. Then again, without essentially a real person to attach it to, it's hard to fully verify their stories. Hiding identities could be a sign that they're genuinely afraid of backlash or disbelief, which often happens in cases involving public figures. On the other hand, the lack of a face, name, or verifiable details makes it difficult for anyone to properly investigate or hold the accused accountable. Unlike Joe, Murr refused to respond to these allegations altogether, and most of the time, the best course of action is to not respond in the face of online backlash. Considering the nature of Joe's multiple responses, I mean, it's safe to assume that there was some truth there, but because Murr has said absolutely nothing, gives him the benefit of the doubt. And these days, Joe is still very vocal in expressing how much he misses his old life.
Hey friends, I know it's been a minute since I've been on here, so I just wanted to say hello. Over the past 5 months, I needed to step away to take care of myself, deal with the enormity of life, and just...
I don't know, Chad, I'm having a hard time. I thought this guy was funny. You can be funny and a terrible human. And I can sit here and go, oh yeah, this guy was funny. He was fucking awful. He's an awful human being. And I can sit here and I can say both are true. But I'm just like, I'm not gonna sit here and sympathize with him based on kind of what I've seen so far. If you find yourself, chat, if you ever find yourself in a position where multiple women in multiple different situations over multiple different years are kind of like, this guy is talking to minors, he's molesting minors, he's gaslighting minors, probably need to reevaluate your life. Like, you probably need to go, probably doing something wrong, probably making mistakes, because it's like, that's a thing that's really easy to not do. That's something that's really easy to not do. If you're 40 and you have to ask, how old are you? Probably should just leave before you ask that. Probably should just go home. If you're like mid 20s, lower 20s, I can see where you're maybe like, you should ask just to be okay. I would say check the location. Where are you? Why are you in a location where you need to ask that? And then evaluate where you're at in your life. And then the next step would be like those like 19 to like 21. Like, if you have to ask and you're like in that age bracket, you're like not in the wrong to ask, because it's you that's just kind of a spot where you maybe need to ask a bit more. And then when you hear that answer, you should know very definitively after that answer, oh, sorry, I'm going to block you. Oh, sorry, I'm not going to talk to you. Like, that should give you the cues on what to do going forward on that, if that makes sense. But when you're that old, I mean, this dude's like my fucking grandpa. Like, this is an old fucking guy. Like, that's just bad. Oh, well, we'll see what the gods say about this. We'll see how the gods say going forward on this, guys.
Really focus on what's important, which is my family, my wife and kids. All's good there, thank goodness. But
that's a crazy.
I also just miss you guys. I miss this part of my life, which is entertaining. I've been doing it for multiple decades at this point, and it's just a huge part of me. And I'm looking forward to hopefully getting back to that soon. But I also want to say thanks so much for the love and support and patience during this time as I work on what I need to. And I hope you're all well. And I also hope to see you soon.
All of these allegations have left the reputation of impractical jokers in a really strange and uncomfortable limbo. There are definitely a bunch of fans who simply do not care. Some fans are disappointed and believe the show isn't the same without Joe. Some said he was their least favorite joker and they don't care that he's gone. Some can't be bothered with the idea that he might be begging for sympathy, and some believe there isn't enough backlash or outrage for Murr's allegations. It's safe to assume that these allegations could be a big reason why the show is not nearly as big as it once was, or you could just chalk it up to the show is really old and it could just be viewer fatigue, because there are still a ton of fans that will continue to support the guys for the foreseeable future, seeing their silence as a satisfactory response to ignore whatever actually happened. But it's undeniable that the magic of what made Impractical Jokers special is gone. The trust for many is now broken, leaving former fans to look back and question if any of it was real at all.
That's crazy. The cost of becoming Jinxie. Low key, bro.
This was the exact
I'm gonna.